important advancement in the community of autism over the years has been the voices of the teens and adults through presentations and writings who now help all of us, individuals affected by autism, family members, and professionals better understand the spectrum. Notable among these voices is John Elder Robeson, Leanne Holliday-Willey, Stephen Shore, Temple Grandin, Dana Gassner, and Amy Gravino. Teen panels effectively show educators, individuals, and family members that the progress that youngsters can make with appropriate support and interventions and their own incredible resistance. And AHA's conferences have been running since the early 90s, and Amy has participated in our teen panels, our young adult panels, and we watched Amy grow through elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and her career choices as she publicly shared her growth and new avenues on social networks. For me, some of it was anxiety producing, as I feel somewhat parental towards her. And now, in reflection, I'm in awe of her openness and of her loving nature, her drive and determination. Amy went on to facilitate groups and present at conferences, and she's a voice that many people flock to because of this openness, which can be a little bit uncomfortable, I guess, for the adults or those much older adults, but for her generation and those surrounding it, it gives them a feeling of somebody who they can identify with and feel that they are not alone in the ways that Leslie's talking about. You know, it's a validity for the feelings that they're feeling or that they would like to think is. She's accomplished a great deal. After graduating from King's College, she focused on the field of autism and received a master's degree in applied behavioral analysis, ABA, from Caldwell College. She's a certified autism specialist with a certificate from IBCCES, which is the International Board of Credentialing and Continuing Education Standards. She also has her certificate in college coaching from Bank Street, and she founded Ascot Coaching, and she does college coaching for students with Asperger's syndrome and related conditions. She speaks her mind. She knows herself better than most people her age, and she candidly shares that exploration of self with others. She's a role model, an advocate, and a brave woman. I'm proud to introduce her, and very proud that she's getting this award. So, Amy Gravino.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. As I was preparing myself to accept this wonderful award, I found that I had to retrace all the many steps in my life that have brought me to this moment. To say that it's been a journey would be a terrific understatement, one that barely touches on the impossible possibility that I would ever make something of myself, as predicted by so many of my teachers and the director of special education in my school. Nice woman. Even with all the years that have passed, the journey continues. The one I embarked on so many years ago, after being diagnosed with autism at age 11. It is the same journey that so many other young autistic girls are now on, and it is the reason for the work that I do, to help these young women and men, along with their parents and families, who are walking the same path that I once tread. In 2008, I received an email from a regular reader of my blog, a woman whose 9-year-old daughter had just been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. Looking for guidance, she told me that they hadn't found much in the way of resources for girls on the spectrum and did not know of any adult women with autism. She suggested a new entry for my blog, a letter written to my younger self from my current age self. The letter could give advice not only to this woman and her daughter, but to all the young girls and individuals with autism and their parents too. What would I say to little Amy if I could talk to her? What would I want to tell her and hope that she would listen? It was with this in mind that I began to write. Dear Amy, I know you're feeling pretty bad right now. The other kids make fun of you a lot, and you don't know why. You're trying really hard to be friends with them, doing all of the things you think they want you to do, and it's just not working. But there is one thing you should know. It's not your fault. Other people might say that, and you won't be able to listen to them, but I am hoping that you will if it's coming from me. It's not your fault. Say it over and over in your head when you feel the worst, because that's when you'll need it most. It's not your fault. How can it not be your fault? You'll say to yourself as the next few years go by. Everyone else can do this, can make friends and be normal. Why can't you? That's just one of the many questions I know you have, questions you don't know how or are afraid to ask. They make you feel overwhelmed, like sitting in Mrs. St. Pierre's classroom every day, fidgeting nervously in your seat. You always get up during class to sharpen your pencil, almost too many times. But I know it's because you enjoy the smell when they're freshly sharpened. It calms you down. So don't feel bad if the other kids snicker or laugh when you smell your pencil. They just don't understand. You care a lot about what the other kids think of you. I know you hate going to pool every week because you have to change in the locker room, and the girls make fun of your feet. This will cause you not to feel comfortable wearing flip-flops for many years, and you won't be okay with wearing them again until you're much older. It'll be like that with a lot of things people say to you. Their exact words will fade from memory, but the effect they have on you will last a long time. But don't worry, one day you're going to make friends with someone who really loves your feet and will call your little toe, the one that didn't grow in quite right, your lucky toe. That's something you feel like you could use a lot of right now, luck. You keep hoping things will get better, but they never do. I have some good news, though. You won't lose that hope. No matter what happens, you'll still be optimistic. Foolishly, maybe, but when you're older, people will tell you how wonderful it is that you are that way. But I have to be honest with you. Things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. You'll be in junior high school soon, and you don't know it, but 7th and 8th grades will be 2 of the worst years of your life. Once again, it's not your fault. You like to look at things outside the window. The trees and blue sky make you feel calm. One day you'll be in study hall, and you'll go right up to the window and stick your head out of it. That's when someone will tell you to jump. Other voices will join in, and even after the teacher finally calms things down and quiets everybody, you'll hear them in your head for a long time to come. Every day, someone will make you feel less, not human, unwanted, and you'll keep your head down and take it, because no one's going to tell you anything different. But I will. You're not less, Amy. You're more. More because you have to work twice as hard as everyone else to make your voice heard. You don't know how to fight right now, except for when you lash out after not being able to handle the pain anymore, and then it's you who gets into trouble instead of your tormentors. They know how not to be seen and to avoid detection. You don't. Even as an adult, you won't quite fully master the art of subtlety, but right now you're bare to the world, completely vulnerable. And your classmates are taking full advantage of that fact. They know how to hurt you in the worst ways, so they can get their jollies from your reactions. You can't understand what they're doing, and you just play straight into their hands every time. Once again, it's not your fault. These days, your classmates call you names. Ugly, freak, psycho, loser, retard. They call you these things because they don't know you, don't care to, or don't want to. You're trying so hard to force yourself into their world with little to no success. But you will have friends one day, Amy. Better still, you won't have to fight for their friendship. They will come to you. I know how unbelievable that seems, especially since you feel like no one wants to be around you at all, not even your parents. But you are loved, even if you don't realize it. You just have to learn how to love yourself. It's hard to think that you're good at anything when people are constantly telling you that everything you do and are is wrong. In middle and high school, your fellow classmates will tell you to your face to kill yourself, and that no one wants you around or would care if you were gone. Don't listen to them. I know it's difficult, and their words will go right into you, but they aren't worth it. You are a good person, a person worth having around, and you'd make so many people sad if you were gone. The world is going to need you when you grow up, Amy, so you have to get there. You have to make it through these dark days, because you're going to make a difference in the future. Someday, people will want to hear what you have to say, and you won't believe it at first, but it will be meaningful and wonderful. You're going to have to take a lot of crap and go through a lot of pain to get there, but I promise you it will be worth it. My time with you is now growing short, Amy. I hope that some of the things I've said have brought you comfort, or at least given you assurance that there is indeed light at the end of this tunnel. In short, things will get better. A lot of people are going to say that to you, and you'll think that they're crazy or just trying to make you feel better, but it's really honestly true. You're an incredibly special, talented girl, and right now you're toiling in obscurity, as so many great artists do. But someday the world is going to see how amazing you are, and all you'll think is, where were you people when I was younger? The future seems far away, almost impossible to think about, but don't be afraid to think about it. You're not even sure if you're going to have a future, but you will. You will. And I'll say to you now 3 words that you don't hear very often, even when your mother says them to you. 3 words that you'll be desperate to hear when you get older, especially from a good-looking member of the opposite sex that seem very off in the distance right now. I love you. I love you, my younger, high-strung, spastic, uniquely wonderful self, and I'll be here waiting for you. See you in 15 years. Love and many hugs, your 26-year-old self. I have seen that girl again and again over the last few years as I have expanded my work as an autism advocate and entered the world of professional speaking. Sometimes she's the only girl in a self-contained class full of boys, one of them, but not one of them, grouped together but still alone, fighting to find her place in a world that still tends to refer to autism as a boy's disorder, or, my personal least favorite, an extreme form of the male brain. What place does this leave for girls and women with autism? Who do we model ourselves after when evidence of ourselves as adults, as people with potential, with thriving, full futures, is so scarce? As a child, I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, a poet living in a cottage in the Italian Alps, of course. But I never had the same impulse as other children who idolized the many characters and celebrities of our day, saying things like, I want to be a Ninja Turtle when I grow up, or when I grow up, I want to be Princess Jasmine. For me, the only person I wanted to be when I grew up, if I grew up, was me. So many individuals on the autism spectrum leave school and are unable to advocate for themselves because we've never had any reason to think that our voice is one that people want to hear. Human beings learn and grow through mistakes, through knowing that making one is not the end of the world. But autistic individuals are often denied this opportunity and are left paralyzed by the fear of making any mistake. The ultimate task of parents, professionals, and teachers is to prepare us for the day that we will not be able to turn to you for help. You absolutely mean well and want only to keep us safe. But it is the fact of knowing how much you care and feeling an overwhelming desire to make you happy that causes so many autistic individuals to be afraid to speak up. And so we are quietly drowning in a sea of other people's good intentions. In 2005, after graduating from college, I moved across the country to Seattle, Washington. I made the ill-advised decision to move because of a boy whom I'd met online earlier that year, and then in person when I visited Seattle with friends during spring break. For the first time ever, I fell in love and made the choice to lose my virginity to him. Later on, I found out that he'd had a girlfriend the entire time and was lying to her and to me. When the truth came out, I endured several months' worth of harassment from them both, including death threats, and I never saw him in person again. Heartbreak, as it turns out, is not for the faint of heart. I fell and fell hard, but in doing so, I learned how to pick myself back up. I discovered a strength inside of me that I hadn't known existed, and that might have never come out if my family hadn't taken the chance and let me go into the world to find my way. Self-advocacy is a process, one that takes time, and that looks and feels different for every person. Self-advocacy begins in the moment of letting go, letting your child stand up and speak for themselves in whatever way they can. It starts with having autistic students attend IEP meetings and having staff members actually speak to them when they're there. It starts with respecting the right of individuals with autism to make their own choices, even the ones that are painful. I am proud to receive this award from Yes She Can, an organization that recognizes the overwhelming importance of self-advocacy and that empowers young women with autism to represent themselves, both on the job and in their everyday lives. My own employment history is one fraught with disappointment and frustration, with social difficulties and rejection so profound that I withdrew from the work world entirely in 2007. I have since founded my own autism consulting business, Ascot Coaching, LLC. But had an organization like Yes She Can existed when I first graduated college, perhaps I wouldn't have struggled for so long. and I would have learned the skills that I needed much sooner. To Marjorie Madfis and the entire Yes She Can Board of Directors and Event Planning Committee, thank you. Thank you for all that you do and for choosing to recognize me and my work here today. Pat Schissel, you gave me my start in public speaking, and it is an honor to have been spoken about by you in such profoundly kind and loving terms. And to my parents, my mom and dad, especially my mom, without whom I would not be here today, not in this room and not here on this earth, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me, for guiding me, for letting me fail, and for loving me unconditionally through it all. You are the two halves of my heart and the song that plays inside it. I love you, and I am so grateful for everything that you have given me. Thank you.